Like I said, my name is Ashley. If you can't tell by my accent, I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I came here in November to be a ski instructor and then found myself over here learning how to drive these big buses. Now I'm putting our Ice Explorer into our 6-wheel drive now. Has everyone ridden in a 6-wheel drive vehicle before? Yeah? Anyone else? Alright, first time for everything. Who's ready to see just how fast this bus can move? Ready? 3, 2, 1. This is it. This is as fast as it gets out here on the glacier. Top speed of 15 kilometers an hour. It's a thrilling drive out there today. Now, like I said, we are in our Ice Explorers. You might have heard a little bit about them on your way up here. They're designed to drive on steep and icy terrain, which is exactly what we'll be doing today. They're equipped to handle a road grade of 38% or around 20 degrees. So when you're driving down the highway and you see a steep road ahead warning sign, those get put out for roads that are around 6 to 10% grade. And we'll be going down a road that is about 30% very shortly. Now there are exactly 23 Ice Explorers in the whole entire world. Any ideas how many we own? Any guesses? 21, spot on guys. The other two, one of them is owned by the Americans. It's down in Antarctica doing some pretty cool research. The other one is owned by my fellow Aussies. Now it was down in Antarctica doing research, but it's been MIA for a few years, so I like to think that there is a little town down under with a very cool school bus. Now, where exactly are we going in our Ice Explorer today? We're headed out to the Athabasca Glacier. She's a pretty special glacier with a lot of history, but how exactly did it get here? Well, if you guys put your hands out for me with your palms to the sky and stick your fingers up, imagine your palm is like our Icefield, and your fingers, they're our mountains, and in between them, we have valleys. Snow falls down on that ice field and it builds up and up and up. We get about 10 meters of snow every single year on the ice field. When that snow builds to a height of about 40 to 50 meters, it becomes so heavy that it compresses in on itself, and that creates our glacial ice. So glacial ice is compressed snow and it's really dense. The ice that's in your freezer is about 50% air, whereas the ice that is in our glaciers only has about 10% air. Now that ice, it starts to build up on that ice field or our palm, and it's building up and up until eventually it spills over the sides with the help of gravity. And that is what forms our outlet glaciers. That ice, it overflows in between our fingers or into those valleys. And so you can think of the ice field a bit like a frozen lake. It's still, it's not moving, whereas our glaciers are those frozen rivers that come off it, and they do move. The Athabasca Glacier moves about 20 to 30 centimeters every single day down the hill. Now our ice field is pretty special. It is the biggest ice field in the Rockies. It is 165 square kilometers in size, which is about the size of Vancouver. And to be considered an ice field, you need to have at least 6 outlet glaciers. And here at the Columbia Icefield, we have at least 2 outlet glaciers, and here at the Columbia Icefield we have 6 of them. We have the Columbia, the Castleguard, the Stutfield, the Saskatchewan, the Dome, and of course the Athabasca Glacier, which you can see in front of us now. Like I said, these glaciers move, and as they're moving through the valley, they alter the landscape. We can use those alters, the marks they leave behind, to tell us a bit about the glacier's history. So on your right here, you have a fantastic view of a big pile of rocks. The official term for this is a moraine, which is French for loose pile of dirt and rocks. And it was put here by the glacier as it was moving through the valley. It pushes all those rocks out of its way and to the side. So if you have a look to the other side of the valley, you'll see another one of those moraines, that big pile of rocks there. It shows us how high the glacier used to be. It would have reached the top of those rocks there, and it shows us how wide it was as well. So on the right side of us, we have one of the lateral moraines, and we're driving on the other lateral moraine right now. Now, I promised you guys a very steep road, and we're approaching it now. Those of you in the front will see that the road seemingly disappears in front of us. This is the steepest unpaved commercially used road in all of North America. They have very good brakes, test them every day. I just put on my auto brake system, which means if we go faster than 10 kilometers an hour, this bus will stop. And we'll be going down in first gear, so get ready for a very, very fast ride down that hill. Now, as we're driving down this part of the moraine, I'll stay quiet so I can focus on my driving. If you do have any questions at all, you feel free to shout them out and I'll answer them when we get to the bottom. Was that the most thrilling thing you guys have ever experienced in your entire life? It's like the world's slowest roller coaster. It's pretty exciting stuff out here. Well done, everybody. We've made it to the bottom safe and sound. Which means now we get to go back to our top speed of 15 kilometers an hour. Let's go. Now, what I should say is welcome to the Athabasca Glacier. I know you're thinking we're on the same dirt road we've been on this entire time, but in fact just a few feet below us is the glacial ice of the Athabasca Glacier. What we're on now is what's known as an iced core moraine, and what that means is that the rocks and dirt from the left side of us have fallen down onto the glacier, covering it up, and they act a bit like a blanket, insulating the glacier and slowing its melting. So you'll notice this road we're on here, it is much higher up than this exposed ice on the right, which is melting at a far greater rate. So when all of that ice that's exposed on the Athabasca Glacier does eventually melt, the ice that's trapped within this moraine will stay around.
Oh, yeah, that's
533455. Can I pass on your right? Thank you. On our left here is Kurt, our heavy machinery operator, giving up big load as it passes. He's making that road nice and safe for us to drive on. And we're so happy to do it for you. Like I said, we're driving on our ice core moraine right now, and if you have a look to your right at about your 2 o'clock, you'll see a smaller moraine. You'll see that sheer side, it's actually ice that is covered in dirt right there. You can kind of see the white and blue streaks coming through. That's exactly what we're driving on right here. Now, as we've been driving down this dirt road, we've picked up a lot of muck on our tyres, and I don't want to track it onto the glacier. So we've got 6 wheels. I need 6 volunteers. Hands up if you want to give them a little scrub before we get on the glacier. No. Interesting. We can usually jump at that opportunity. Alrighty, well luckily in front of us we have what we call our tyre wash. It is melt water from the Athabasca Glacier that we drive through before heading out onto the ice road to ensure that our tyres are as clean as possible. We like to clean our tyres because even though a thick layer of dirt and rocks like on the ice core moraine protects the glacier from melting, a thin layer of dust on the moraine, on the ice, will act a little bit like a black t-shirt on a hot sunny day. It absorbs all of that heat and it accelerates the melting of the ice. Now you'll notice as we're driving along the ice road that to the left and right of us it is still very dirty out there on the glacier. This hasn't been tracked on by our ice explorers or by hikers who have found their way up here. It's actually from something naturally occurring known as cryoconite, which means coal dust. It forms in the atmosphere. It's a mixture of dust and dirt as well as ash from forest fires or even from volcanic activity, which will then settle on top of the glacier. Over time, this cryoconite, it gets covered by ice, and so if we were to take a portion of our glacier out, take a sample, we would see layers of that cryoconite throughout it. And that can tell us a lot about our history. It can tell us if there was forest fires in the area or volcanic activity around the world. There's also pollen that can get trapped within the ice, which can tell us about the biodiversity of the area. And we also get atmospheric gases trapped in air pockets underneath the ice, which can show us historic levels of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases and how they've been increasing over time. Now, as we're looking out here on the glacier, you'll notice it's nothing like a skating rink. It is lumpy and bumpy and has cracks and grooves. It is very old, and with that it gets a lot of marks on it, and as it moves through the valley it is also under a lot of pressure, and that pressure causes these cracks known as crevasses to open up in its surface. Another hazard out there is something called millrays, which are formed by water tunneling down into the ice, and they can go as deep as the glacier itself. So with that in mind, we've set up a boundary for you here to stay within. We ask that you keep within that very clearly marked boundary for us. This is assessed daily for your safety. I am just a driver and a guide. I am not a crevasse rescue expert, so if you wander outside of the boundaries and find yourself down a hole, you'll be left to Parks Canada, and they are a government agency, so it may be 2 to 3 weeks before we hear from them. Although this area is marked and assessed for safety, it's still ice, so it can be slippery. There can also be meltwater pockets that might get your feet wet. So just take your time out there, watch where you're going, and take little steps and you'll be perfectly safe. If you do want to try some of our meltwater, there is a great stream on the right side of the boundary here. You can drink straight from it, you can fill up your water bottles, and if you're feeling brave, you can do our exclusive glacier facial, which is when you dip your face in the water. It's great for your complexion. I'm actually 55. One last thing to be mindful of when you're out there is that these are very big buses with very big blind spots. So just remember to stay in front of the buses. I know you want to take some pictures of them and that's totally okay. Just stay in front of those front tyres for me. I'll be at the bottom of the stairs if you need any assistance walking out there on the ice. Or if you've got any questions, I'm also an excellent photographer if you need some help taking some family photos. Now, before we get going, who can tell me what bus number are we? 533, perfect. We'll be leaving here at 10:30. What time are we leaving here? Beautiful. I'll give you a 5-minute warning at 10:25, which is your cue to start jumping on the bus, because if you're here at 10:31, I will not be, and it is a long walk back. So what time are we getting out of here? 10:25. Beautiful. 10:30.
Sweetie,